Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Swing King. So right now I'm going to do something just to show you guys how the system works. Again, to make sure that those who want and on the system, you can join and get some access to the system. So I'll just remove some side information to simplify things. But as you guys can see clearly in this trading chart right here, you see the big arrow. You see the matching little green arrow and the yellow arrow saying that this pair is going to be going up. Now, mind you, this is actually the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame runs a lot longer, so you're going to end up holding the trade a lot longer. As you can see, the last time which this came up, it was actually back on April 6th. So you could have joined in on this trade, which is actually the pair, GBP USD, the pound versus the dollar. As you can see right here at the top, it was a big arrow, a little arrow, and I'm sorry, the big arrow, the big red, little red, and the yellow. Let me expand it so you can see it a little bit better. There you go. You can clearly see it. Big red, little red, and the yellow. So the last time that this happened on this pair, you could have stayed in this trade all the way and rolled the trend all the way down, which is another great feature of the triple arrow system because you don't have to guess when to get out. Yes, there are going to be ebb and flows, as you can see on its route down. Yes, it jumped up, bounced off support, and came back down again in the same direction, bounced off support, came back down again, bounced off support. Whoa! Uh-oh. But what's missing? You don't see the big arrow and the little arrow and the yellow. So that tells you until you see the matching three, stay in the trade. And all of a sudden, guess what? It went all the way back down. And now, finally, and today is August the 14th, 2018. So after months of you being in the same exact trade, you could have rolled it all the way down. And now we're at the beginning stages of the reversal. Here's one of the biggest challenges most traders have. And I'm shrinking it so we can kind of put everything on the same screen. All right. So let me move this up a bit so that we can see. I wish I can get rid of the high and lows so we don't have to watch that. But basically, you get the gist. So as you can see right here at the very top, here's the triple arrow. And you could have rolled this thing all the way down to its change. So let's measure those pips and see how many pips you could have made off of that one trade, just holding it for the long-term holders. That was over 1,654 pips. 1,654 pips is what you would have made just off of one trade holding it long-term, okay? So again, you can use this on the 4-hour system. It works on the 1-hour system. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. And see what the 1 hour told us. See, yeah, and by the way, there's going to be a bunch of arrows telling you, hey, this is a pivot, it's been a bounce, it's been a bounce. We don't pay attention to the smaller arrows. We only pay attention to one set of arrows. When the big arrow, which indicates there's a huge, massive trend change, not just these little pivots and bounces, which is where people try to scalp the market, which you can use it on the 5-minute chart to, to do that if you want to scalp. You can do that as well. For those who just want to, hey, let me just make my pips at ease, I don't want to be on the screen all day. I don't want to have to measure with Fibonacci levels and ratios and Elliott wave and all these different, just lay it to me straight. I tell people all the time, the 1 hour chart is by far the best. My second favorite, actually my first favorite is the 30-minute chart. The 30-minute chart, because you'll catch more of the pivot moves. But of course, there's a little more work because you can see you'll be taking every single short move coming in and out. So triple arrows, it went down. Triple arrow, then it went up. So you're only paying attention when the big arrow shows up on the scene, then you match it to the smaller ones. And the reason why, again, is because the big arrow does repaint. It can move around with the charts, but it becomes a stable signal once it's matched up to all three arrows side by side. 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, down. And here's the beautiful part about it. Some of your signals, they may be short signals like this one here. As you can see, it went here to here, which was good for 125 pips. Not bad, right? You're on the same exact pair and you ride it back up again. And here is where you would have switched in the other side. That's another 50 or 58, well, just say 60 pips roughly. Then, see, you never know. Some of these trades, they're going to be short distance. And look at this beauty. So you took this short one to here, 125 pips. This one, 60 pips. Okay. So now look at this one here. See, you never know. That's why I don't guess. People always, well, where do you think the market's going? That's none of my business to figure out. The arrows will tell me when to get out and when to stay in. So as you can see on the 30-minute chart, here it is. 1, 2, 3, and let's measure it. Because this thing went down all the way. Look, we're going to the corner. This is going to this corner, but pay attention to this one. From one side of my screen to the other. Look how long you could have stayed in this particular beauty right here. Notice yes, there's a whole lot of bounces to wiggle you out the market. And most people, because you don't know when to get in and when to get out, you would have got out way too early. Some of you guys would have got out here out of fear, some here, and would have been happy with that pips, which was 135. But for those who have my system, you already know big arrow, little arrow, yellow. Stay in until you get that to the other side. And look at this one. This one went all the way down. One particular trade, one trade, big arrow, little arrow, and the yellow, saying now it is time for a reversal pattern. And sure enough, what happens? We're getting that reversal, but that was after a 476 pip move. So you don't have to guess. Now, guess what? And let's slide this over because this is active now. I'm actually in this trade. As you can see, the triple arrows came in, which is why I took this trade, going to the reversal. I don't have to guess. I just open up my charts and look and see big arrow, little arrow, and the yellow. None of these other arrows matter to me until I see it with a matching big one, okay? Now, here we go, and off we are. And this is actually a current one here. So as you can see, I got into this trade a little bit late, of course. I wish I would have got in a little bit earlier, but it's okay. It's still beginning of the trend. Because how do I know that? Do I see a big arrow, a little arrow, and a yellow? No, of course. So it's not finished. So it can go up, and away. I don't have to figure that out. I'll just stay in this trade until it tells me different. All right, so this is just a weekend wrap up. Let's take a look real quick at a couple of more pairs that we took this week. For those who already have the system or the signal service, as you can see here, this is one that we took yesterday. It was a little short one, just an in and out. Because it does work on the 15. Here's what I saw. I saw the triple arrow system, and since it's on a shorter time frame, of course, you don't want to stay in long. But of course, you could have took this quick little drop for a couple of pips if you were just trying to scalp the market. And sure enough, it did drop just like the triple arrows had said, and it dropped for 56 pips before bouncing back up. And there we go. Okay, this is the reason why you can use it. And look at here. Same thing, big arrows. You never know if it's going to be a short trade or a long one because the system will tell you, even on the 15-minute. Okay, let's look at the 5-minute chart. Here goes a beauty. Look at this. Okay, let me move this out the way. Again, this guy's it's trading made easy. 1, 2, 3, and down it went. And this is on a 5-minute chart. Same exact pair. AUD CAD. Okay, ACAD. I call them Aussie CAD. 1, 2, 3, all the way up the ladder. 1, 2, 3, down the ladder. Well, it took a little small dip. Let's look and see. See, right here, it did actually go down. This is news event, and you can't protect against that. Any system, nobody can do that. This was still cool because look, if you look at this, if you got him right here, you still would have made a little something. Right there, and basically 1, 2, 3, and back up it went. So you would have rolled it to here. So that was like 14 pips. Some people only scalp for 10 pips, so that was still good. But again, this huge candle is a news event, which is why I like the 30-minute charts better because it absorbs news events easier. But either way it goes, that's the 5-minute chart. You want to see the 1 minute? Here goes 1 minute. There we go. See, it's a lot more noise. That's why I don't trade the shorter time frames necessarily. But for those who want to, you can. But let's focus more on, here's the 15, but here's my favorite time frame, the 30-minute. It runs much smoother. Look at that long, smooth move. Long, smooth move. And one more thing about this, for those who trade the markets, who works, I would suggest using only the 30-minute or the 1 hour because the moves are much longer. Secondly, I would choose pairs. See how this is up and down, up and down, up and down. I usually like to trade easier pairs that runs a lot smoother. Let me kind of expand this out. There we go. All right, so now as you can see, if you would have gotten this trade, yes, it was a little scary right here, came back on you, but it proceeded all the way up. So this particular one, and I'm gonna put on what's called day breakers. So day separators, where you can see how many days it took to make that move. You could have got him right here on this trade and carried it for day 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you could have carried this one trade for a whole week, and by the time it was said and done, you would have caught about how many pips? You would get in right here. about 94 pips, basically almost 100 pips in a week, okay, on one trade if you couldn't pay attention. If you put it on the 30-minute chart, you could have called it even smoother. See that move? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days. All right, and let's take a look. That's why my 30-minute chart is my favorite. That was still 96 pips there. And then look at this drop. Look at that drop. Boy, that is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, it came back up. No triple arrow, so we stay in the trade. Stay in the trade, stay in the trade, and look at there. Right here is where it came in. A little dicey and choppy, that's the way the market is, but overall, look at that big old move that you caught. See, from here to here, then here, then here. See, you're in and out, in and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last but not least, I'll say this, and look at this beautiful move up back to the upside. That's why you never know. Some of these, you'd be like, man, these are little small moves, but nevertheless, you eventually you're going to catch a big move. And look at that thing. It just went all the way out the field. One more time. Let's measure that one. That was for how many pips? 300 pip move right there. And then it came all the way back down on another side. And let's take a look and see what it did. That created another 155 pips. Then it created another small move again. Let's see what it did right here to here. Another 46 pips. And then down to the bottom again. Down we go. Down to the little short moves. So you can play the same exact pair. There we go. So you can play the same exact pair over and over and over again. Here's one that we caught this week as well. This was a beauty. I was so happy and upset with myself because, I don't know. Sometimes I just want to get my money and go because I don't want to do my thing. Sometimes that's just the way it is. You're just not in the mood. You want to do something else. But I did catch this beauty right to about here before I took my profit because it's a Friday. But let's take a look at this move. Again, 30-minute chart, 1, 2, 3. And I caught this swing move all the way up. What happened was I seen this pull back and it's on the Friday. So I just say, hey, let me give myself a mental break, period. But nevertheless, look at what it did. The charts do not lie. This was a 63 pip move. I had several positions, so I had about 80 pips on this one. But here's the reason why you don't want to jump out until you see the triple arrow, even if you see the big red. Look at the big red here. Right here, the big red was down here because, again, I told you it does repaint, okay? Repaint means that it will move. So I don't trust the big arrow until I see it matched up with the other two, the small green and the yellow. That's the way the system works. When all three are together, then it is an actual confirmed move on the time frame you're using, which I recommend the 30-minute or the 1 hour. So as you can see, here's the Friday, and today is the 17th. The arrow was here. It pulled back to the moving averages, and then guess what? It said, I'm still not done. I want more. I'm greedy. And it burst off and took off some more. And that's not typical on a Friday. But again, you could have stayed in this trade. Why? Because there's a big arrow, but it's not the little arrow and then the yellow. So what I did was, this is NZD USD. I did get out of that one, but I am, guess what? Still in play on the GBP USD. So I'm still in one of them. You don't have to be in all of them because sometimes you get the same signal on multiple pairs that has a matching pair to it. So you'll get it on the AUD, Aussie USD, you'll get it on the Euro USD and the German British Pound USD and the New Zealand USD. You can choose which one or you can play all of them. It's up to you. So anyway, I'm still in the GBP USD. So I got out of the New Zealand, took my money and my profits, and I'm just going to let this one ride. And one more time. Why? Because I love this beautiful setup on the 4-hour charts. Let me get rid of the day separators. As you can see, big arrow, little green arrow, and the yellow. That's telling me we're in for a long haul move. So those who's catching this move early next week, good for you. Sundays is typically a reversal day, and I'll do a video about that another time. But in the meantime, just get in on this one and ride it all the way up, okay? Last one we want to take a quick look at is gold. As you can see, gold is making that W pattern on the 4-hour, but let's see what the 1 hour is talking about. Look at that 1 hour on the downside. 1, 2, 3. Look at that big move down. Then 1, 2, 3. It went up. 1, 2, 3. Went down. Kept on going. Kept on going. And there we go. 1, 2, 3. And it's also showing up. So that means the dollar is going to be going down probably next week, while all the pairs who's going against the dollar will be going up. All right, enough of that. I'm out. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll post this to our YouTube channel. Enjoy your charts. And again, follow us on our Facebook page. The Forex Swing King and all the information you need to get our trading system is there. Or if you just want the Forex signals themselves, which is $49 a month. So every time we take a trade, we'll post it into the Facebook group and you will have it. Okay. Have a great weekend. Talk to you guys next week.